I'm simply just coming on here to just talk about what's been going on in my life, what's recently been going on. We hit 9 months in Houston, so that is very exciting. Hi y'all. Key game for life. But I just want to simply come on here, and I'm not doing any pranks today, so don't look for pranks. But I'm simply just coming on here to just talk about what's been going on in my life, what's recently been going on. We hit 9 months in Houston, so that is very exciting. But also throughout the months that led up to my first go and start in February. I decided, well, in January, we decided that, it's time to leave SC. It's not doing anything for us. It was just, it was just draining. So we decided to get up and move. And so I started looking for jobs. But even, let's back up, even before that, there was a court case. And the court case was dismissed. And so, full custody, me. Hey, I won. So, even when that, I knew that I could get up and move, right? I got full custody. We was never married and none of that, right? So when I did decide to get up and move, it was that time. I found the job. I landed the job. I left. Well, I had so much pushback, y'all. Like, so much pushback to the point where it was just like degrading. Like, I had so many people just hating me. So many people threatening my life. On Snap. People just was like, I wish you was this, I wish you was that. Just so much hate backlash off of what had happened, right? And I just was like thinking to myself, even in the midst of the storm, like, wow, me wanting to better myself made so many people upset and mad. Like, why? So, sorry y'all, I had link flying. So I had people would get up on my live and would say little things. And of course I clap back, because you're not going to clap at me and I'm not going to clap back. That's not who I am, baby. I'm going to clap back every time. But I had so many people just, degrading. I just had so many, like, they was just clapping back at me and thought that I wasn't going to clap back. Got on my TikTok, was saying things and was like, are you serious right now? Like, y'all clapping back at me like y'all taking care of this man. Like, he came out of you. He ain't come out of you. So, what you clapping for? But anywho, nevertheless, got here. Everything landed perfectly, y'all. Everything landed the way it should and the way it did. It was just perfect. And I'm proud of us. I'm very much so proud of me and my significant other. I will honestly say this right here: when you're at the right place at the right time with the right people, your blessings will come like back to back to back. You'll be like, what in the world? Is this really happening? Yes, because that's when you know right then and there that you are at the right place at the right time with the right people. Period. But let's move right along. So, started the job, got the house. We met some friends here. Opportunities started just coming, and I can honestly say I'm thankful that we moved here. I'm very much so thankful. I'm not gonna talk bad about South Carolina because that's where I was raised, right? But South Carolina is like a retirement. It's not for young people. It's too slow. Like the money there is it's not the same. It had becoming like it had become so bad, y'all. I'm talking becoming. It had become so bad to the point where I was like losing my hope. Like, dang, is this what I'm supposed to be doing? Is this where I need to be? Like, what in the world? But nevertheless, I was just losing it, y'all. And I was going into depression mode, like so much because, you know, my family and I, they're like, we wasn't really talking. When I moved, and I'm just gonna be very transparent with y'all. When I moved, my own mama didn't know that I moved. Like she didn't know. Um, she didn't know. We just up and moved. Period. Because it was time. It was time. And I didn't want nobody to be like trying to say, Kiki, you don't need to do that. You don't need to do this. Maybe you maybe you need to wait and this and that. And I didn't want my blessings to like talk me out of my blessings, because sometimes people will try to talk you out of your blessings if you're weak-minded and you listen to them. You would definitely be talked out of your blessings, but I didn't want that. So you know, I knew that it was time for me to go, y'all. I was going through counseling. I was out of it. And I knew that it was just, it was the place. It was the people that I was around. You know, I had even fallen out with some of my favorite people, like my favorite people. You would see me with like every other weekend, and it was just, it went to nothing. So I knew right then and there, I was like, you know what? Yep, this ain't the place. It's time for me to go. And that's what we did. We got up and left. But your story is your story. And everybody else's story is going to be their story. Don't be weak-minded. Just live your life. And I can promise you all the blessings is going to come. All the blessings are going to come. Sometimes we gotta do things. We got to follow God's directions. And what I mean by that is, don't go off your own understanding. When God tells you to move, you move. It's a reason why you're moving. It could save your life or anything. You don't really know why. Just move. Just be obedient and do it. And I had got to a point, y'all, where I was just, it was time to go. So we made a vision board, and the vision board had Texas on it. It had me getting closer to family, which that didn't happen. I'm okay with that not happening, because at the end of the day, I don't care. You know, it is here nor there. The fact that I had on my vision board, I wanted to make more money. I wanted to do more traveling, and y'all, I could honestly say I had like maybe 10 things on that vision board, and I accomplished 6 or 7 of them. That's a big accomplishment for me. So I pat myself on the back for that, because that was a big accomplishment. But y'all, make the move. Do it. You don't understand the joy it brings. When you put your mind to something, you do it. So, make that move. But fast forward, moved here, and like I said, blessings just happening, right? Blessings just happening. So, recently, I found out that I have another sister that's in the UK. I found out that I have another sister. She reached out to me on social media, on Facebook, and she basically told me that my nieces and my nephew, her kids, had purchased a DNA kit for her. And come to find out, the DNA kit came back that it led back to the Sharp and Andrews. Well, her mom deceased, and she kept old mail, like old mail. So my sister came across my dad picture, and it had my dad writing on the back of it, but it said Carlos. Carlos in Spanish means Charles, right? In English. That's what it means, I think. Or I got it twisted. I don't know. I don't really know Spanish, so. But whatever it is, Carlos equals Charles. And so, she started putting, like, things together. She reached out to my cousin Jasmine, Andrew, and Jasmine started connecting the dots. And so, helping her to connect the dots. And then my sister began to find me because she said that our dad, he wrote 2 books, an autobiography and a fiction book. And it was about Pennsylvania, where he was brought up at. He was raised in Pennsylvania. Well, the book, it was things on there that, you know, she was saying that about dad was speaking about my graduation and things like that on the internet. So she was like, the website. So she was like, Takesha. So she went and looked me up and she found me. Hey. So she wrote me. I read it and I just like brushed it off to the side because I'm like, these scamming people, they just want to try to scam somebody out of the money or whatever case is. So I was like, I'm not about to answer these people. These people trying to scam me. I'm not about to do that. I get so tired of these, scammers. I was like, I'm not about to do that. So she wrote me again a couple weeks. And this time it was, hey, my name is Anna, a.k.a. Lisa, a.k.a. And when she wrote me, she was like, hey, my kids purchased a DNA kit for me, and the DNA results came back to the fact that I could possibly be related to, well, no, one possibly. I'm related to the Sharps and the Andrews. So I'm like, okay. Okay. So I kept reading. And the paragraph said, and it comes to the fact that maybe my dad, or your dad, could possibly be my dad, because she asked me, do you know Charles Sharp or not? Well, yeah. And I was like, yeah, that's my dad. Who are you? So she called me. I didn't answer. And like I said, y'all, I'm so excited. So it may be some things that I'm skipping, but these are like the very exciting points that I'm sharing. And so she called me and I couldn't answer. So I wrote up and I was like, is everything okay? So I think like, and I can't remember if like she waited to respond back to me, because she was like, I think she, at that time, like when people is, itching for answers and they're not getting the answers, they kind of like fall back. So she wrote me again, and I shared the news with my significant other at the time, and I was like, this lady writing me about, this and this, about my dad could be her dad, like, what's wrong with her? I was like, and I was telling him, and he was like, Kiki, because he called me Kiki. He was like, Kiki, don't ignore that. Like, listen to her, hear her out. It may be something that, you know, something really could be transpiring. Like, just listen to her, hear her out. And I was like, I don't know. So I ended up writing her back, and, you know, I was asking for proof. The proof that she sent me was like, oh wow. Oh. So she sent me a picture, and like I said, it had my dad information on the back of the picture. And I sent it to my dad, and I was like, so is this you? He was like, yeah. So I was like, is this your handwriting? He was like, yeah. I was like, okay. So I asked my sister what's her mom's name, because her mom is no longer with us. She's deceased. So I was like, what's your mom's name? And she told me. So I asked my dad, I was like, do you know such and such? And he was like, yeah. I was like, did you ever cross paths with somebody in Germany by this name? He was like, yeah, I was boxing. Poor man. My dad is 79 years old. So I'm like, are you serious, Dad, right now? Are you serious? Are you really serious? So I called him, and I was like, are you aware that you may have another child in UK that you don't know about? He was like, no, but the name that you said, I met her during the time of me boxing in Germany. So I'm like, and not, mind you, not, you know, my dad was in the military. So, you know how that goes. So even then, I was like, Dad, you need to talk to her. Like, you need to, you know, y'all need to talk. And so he was like, yeah, that's fine. Tell him to call me. And no, let me back up. So when I sent him the pictures, and I also sent him the picture of when my sister made a collage of herself and our dad, he was like, baby girl, that's your sister. He was like, that's your sister. So I was like, okay. I was like, okay. So he was like, have her to call me. And I was like, okay, because after I told him, I was like, y'all need to talk. He was like, have her to call me. I was like, now? He was like, yeah. So I wrote Anna back, and I was like, Anna, Dad wants you to call him. And she was like, now? I'm like, yeah. So she spoke to Dad on the phone for, I don't know, it was like 30 minutes to an hour. I spoke to Dad on the phone for like, I think 30 minutes to an hour. And then the excitement in her voice was like, thank you, Key. Thank you. Thank you for just taking the time out to hear me out. Read the messages that I was sending you. It was like magic, y'all. It was like magic. Not only that, y'all, you know, they still talk to this day. They be on the phone for hours. My dad told my sister that you're not a Johnson, you're a Sharp. Don't you forget it. So let's change that name. But it's beautiful. And not only that, like I said, not only was I able to connect her to our Father, but I was able to connect her to sisters and brothers that we have. And she's actually, her and her kids are actually making a trip to U.S. next year to visit us, her family in U.S. this is the most beautiful moment because to be very transparent, my sister was living a lie her whole life. She didn't have a slight idea that her dad was American. She went through what she went through in life not knowing. And it took her at the age of 51 to find out who her biological father is. And it's touchy, y'all, because I can only imagine going through life without knowing who my biological father is. The ending is I have a sister. She's 51. She lives in the UK. She has 3 kids. And we're so blessed to have her in our lives. I speak to my nieces, my nephew, and my sister every day on WhatsApp. Every day. If we're not doing voice recorders on WhatsApp, we're actually sending messages. Not only do I want to thank my nieces, but I want to thank my cousin as well. The stories that my sisters shared with me today, my significant other can tell you I bust out crying. Because can you imagine? Can you imagine? Living your life this way, like living your life not knowing, living your life just clueless, searching, hurt, wanting answers. But me and my family, we're going to welcome her. We're going to love her and those kids. And we want to let them know that no matter what, the past is gone. We can't change the past. We can only focus on the future. No matter what, your family here in US will love you. We will welcome you. We will cherish the moments that we do have, because I know it's a bit of a difference. And we just want you to know that we love you. We're glad that you was determined and you didn't give up. Because now you found us. You found us. So sis, this video is dedicated to you. I love you again. I love my nieces. I love my nephew. I love my great nieces and great nephew. I even love my nephew-in-laws. But thank you. Because not only did you pull our family together, but you brought joy back into our lives. And I can't really speak for everybody, so I'm going to speak for me, that you brought joy back into my life. And the fact of your determination and your dedication and, ooh, that just tells me in everyday life, that just reminds me in everyday life to just keep going, Key. The rainbow is there. I don't care how dark it looks over there, but the rainbow was up there. So every ending is priceless. And don't give up. Don't give up. The outcome that you want is coming. It may not be written like how you want it, but it's coming. So Anna, I love you. Thank you. And we cannot wait to see you in the U.S.